Assalamualaikum everyone. Alright, so this is the case number 5 for integration of trigonometric functions where the power of secant is even. Okay, for case number 5, we can solve using Sis method. Alright, and here is the steps that we will use. Okay, so the first step is we will split. The terms that we will split in this case is we will split from secant to the power of mx to secant to the power of m minus 2x and secant square x. Okay, so remember this is the most important terms. Alright, in your split. Alright, continue. Next is we will use the identity for secant square. Okay, secant square x equals to 1 plus tangent square x, or the other way around, tangent square x plus 1. Okay, and lastly we will use substitutions. So u will be equal to tangent x. Alright, so when you differentiate your tangent, you will get du dx is secant square x, and your dx will be du divided by secant square x. Okay, so now if you can see here, your dx here contain the secant square x, which is similar to the terms that you have split in the first step. Alright, so if you cannot remember what is the terms that you need to split in the first step, then you can refer to your dx in your third steps. Alright, okay guys, let's continue with the first example. We have here find the integration of tangent to the power of 4x and secant square x dx. Okay, so firstly we have the integration for tangent and secant. So in integration of the trigonometric functions, this is in the case number 5, right, where the power of secant is even. So we say that it is in case 5. Okay, so for case 5 you can also solve by using Sis method. Alright, so the first step is we need to split. Okay, so the things that we need to split is secant square. Alright, but the problem is you only have secant square here. That means you will skip the first step because you already have the secant square splitted in the question. Alright, then we will continue with the next step. So the next step is we will use identity. Alright, identity for secant square. Okay, but the problem here, we don't have any other secant square, okay, other than the secant square that you have split in the first step. Okay, so meaning here we also have to skip the second step. Alright, okay, next proceed with third step is you need to use substitution. Alright, so for the substitution method, we will let u equals to tangent x and du dx equals to secant square x. So what will be your dx? It is du divided by secant square x. Okay, next continue, substitute in your question. We will have here the integration of u to the power of 4 and then times secant square x, and your dx is du divided by secant square x. Okay, so next step, we can cancel off the secant square and we just integrate your u power 4. You will get u5 over 5 plus c, and when you replace your u, you will get it is tangent to the power of 5x divided by 5 plus c. Okay, alright, so this is for the first example. Okay, let's look at the second example for the case 5 where the power of secant is even. Alright, so look at here, we have the integration of tangent to the power of 5x and secant to the power of 4x dx. So in this case, you can use either for the case 4 where the power of tangent is odd, or for the case 5 where the power of secant is even. Okay, let's say in this example we use the power of secant is even. We use case number 5. Okay, let's see, we use case 5. Okay, and we can solve using SIS. Okay, let's start with the first step. We will split. Okay, so firstly we will split until you will have secant square x at the end. Alright, so the remaining function will be tangent to the power of 5x and secant square x here. Okay, continue. Next we will use identity for secant square. So if you can see here, we have two terms of the secant square x. Okay, but then please remember, you cannot modify the terms that you have split in the first step. So that means you cannot modify this function. Alright, okay, so the things that we need to modify here for the identity is this one, secant square. Alright, okay, next when you simplify or modify the secant square x using identity formula, so now we will have the integration of tangent to the power of 5x, and your secant square x now is 1 plus tangent square x. And here we have secant square x dx. Okay, so next we will continue with the substitution. So let u is tangent x and du dx is secant square x, and write your dx as the subject. We will have du divided by secant square x, and we will substitute in your solution here. So we have here is u to the power of 5 times 1 plus u square times, so we have here secant square x and du divided by secant square x. Then we can cancel off the secant square x, and we can solve here the integration of u to the power of 5 plus u to the power of 7 du. And continue, we will integrate. You will have u6 over 6 plus u8 over 8 plus c, and lastly your final answer will be tangent to the power of 6x over 6 plus tangent to the power of 8x over 8 plus c. Okay, so this is your final answer for example B. Alright, thank you class.